Well, hello guys. Welcome to my channel, Phyllis Brown channel.
Welcome, welcome.
And to my left here is Darius Bailey from BaileySpeaks, my youngest son. And guys, guess what? Xander's father. You know, he's in a lot of my videos. So today I welcome him up to my channel because they're before we get started, let's do some credentials.
Okay.
You want me to go first?
Go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of my supporters and friends from afar don't know a lot about my credentials. Not on this channel. Other than I'm a mom, a wife, and a grandmother, and a sister, and a cousin, and an aunt, and a friend. Okay, that's enough. Stay focused, Phyllis. So this is going to be a little educational video from my son's perspective when it comes to real estate, buying and building and preparing for the future as it relates to the changes in our world, in our economy. So I know a couple of my friends here. I sound like my sister, DRM.
That's
That's a family joke.
That automatically happens when you turn, what, 50 something?
Tell my
60?
my son.
Georgia?
They said people in the South, when you get older, say the
The R.
the R sound. Even Xander says, he said, Grandma, don't say R.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was so noticeable. I am a Southern girl. But anyway, my son, for the record, wanted to talk about credentials. And I don't really, it's hard for me to talk about myself because I started rolling off all the things I do. People say, God, I didn't know you'd done all that.
Well, they're not for bragging. They're just anyone who takes it as bragging.
It's not bragging.
One of us for establishing credibility.
Credibility. You guys know that I'm a social worker, and I used to be in the medical field. I opted to leave that field after going to LP in school. I went back to school, got my BS degree in human services because I had been in that field for quite a while. Started at the bottom. As a direct care staff, and I ended up when I semi-retired as a director of a residential program, the largest here in the Atlanta area. And I had 300 employees. I had 5 ladies, bachelor level and a master's level, and direct care staff. Had my own AA, and so I was doing it, making a lot of money for this company. And so after doing that, I decided to start my own little consulting business. I am consultant for DD population. I help people start their own group home and business. I'm also a certified anger management specialist. I'm also certified to teach foster parents, and I do home studies. I'm also a spiritual life coach, and I have my own business. It's called Community. What is my business called?
I don't know.
Impact. It's my second business. Impact Community Services. It's an LLC company where I offer support. I'm also certified to provide training to couples with their marriages, help improve their relationships. So I have a lot of certification and training in social service and beyond. So that's what I do. Presently, I have my own LLC. Impact Community Services. You guys also, some of you subscribing to that channel. I'm going to really be doing more on that channel, that platform, to provide help for those in need, seeking personal improvement, becoming more self-aware, and also improving their relationships with their significant others. So that's what I do, and that's my passion. And this is my YouTube channel I do for fun. I really like this, but this is, I think, the most serious video I've made in a long time. Because most of mine are hauls and just vlogging my day-to-day activities. So that's what I do. So
my influence on you.
What's your influence on me?
A serious video.
Yes, this is he is serious. This boy started his first business when he was, I think, about 13 or 14.
More like 10 or 11.
Right, but your first serious business, you had a lawn service here in
that was the barbershop. That was 13, 14.
See, he's been doing something.
Mine was like 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, he was cutting grass. Yes, cutting grass. And I'll never forget, he brought this boy to the house and said, Mom, this is my partner. I said, your partner? You remember that
My
story?
business partner.
His business partner, another little boy, and it was his lawnmower. And I asked my son, I said, what are you paying him? He said, half. I said, wait a minute now, something's wrong with this business transaction. You paying him half, this is your business, your lawnmower. I said, you got to think about that. So did you revamp that?
I didn't, but I got your point.
He got the point, he
But
didn't.
I also saw, now I see the value in
What I said.
how I did it.
Right.
Now,
You're right.
yeah,
Because
it wasn't necessary at the time.
it wasn't.
But at that time, it was for confidence reasons and just that push. That I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. Well, I just didn't think
At the time,
At the
you're
time,
right,
right?
yeah.
Because at that
Right.
time, I had my own licensed home state certified daycare.
Not at this time, no.
No, a little after
This
that.
was Conyers. This was
Kanye,
when I
it's
was
right after that.
6, 7.
Right. It wasn't long after that that we moved up to Stone Mountain.
Back to
Back,
Decatur,
right.
yeah.
And I got started my own licensed business. So they've always been around and see that I believe in being an entrepreneur and starting your own business. So that was the beginning. So this boy has always been able to save money, want to invest, and he used to cut hair. And I was working third shift at the hospital at the time. I never forget it. 14 years old. And this is how I found out he had his own business. I was working third shift. I would come home from the hospital, get into bed, and I woke up one evening about 8, 7. It was just summertime, just turning dark. It was just turning dark, right? And I woke up, went to the bathroom. I saw this man go out my door, and at the time I was divorced. And I jumped up and I asked my other son, "Who is that man?" And he said to me, "That's one of Darius' clients." I jumped up. I said, "Clients?" This boy was cutting grown men hair while I was in there asleep before I went to work on the third shift. So he's always been this type of person. So
Imagine them.
it scared me to death. But anyway,
Wow.
it worked out. So he's always had that mindset. I guess he got it from his mom. So this is not just my first business, but we're going to talk more about that. So those are my credentials, and probably left some out. But anyway. Oh, and when I went back to school to get my degree in human services, I was running a program, over 300 employees. I had a $2 million budget at the time. I had a foster child. I had a husband. And guys, I made the dean's list 3 times when I was in college. So that was an accomplishment for me.
Yeah.
After being out of school 35 years. Okay.
Well, I'm just the reformed street thug from Decatur, Georgia. No, like my mom said, I began life as an entrepreneur. Just like most people, most of my peers, most young black men from my generation. From Decatur, Georgia, raised by a single mother. Well, I would say
Divorced mom.
divorced mom. I have always had an active father. Most people don't know this, but I actually obtained a GED, and that was a result of having children at a young age, dropping out of high school.
Tell them the story where I say, "You're not going to stay in my house and drop out. You're going to get your GED.
Well, the whole idea was I knew that I was screwing up. I think I dropped out of school at 10th, 11th grade.
11th grade.
My last report card reflected 30s, 40s.
Small
I think my
boy.
highest grade at the time was maybe like a 70. And during this time, I was going through a lot of emotional stuff at the time. So school was kind of like my last part, last focus.
Typical teenager.
I was a young man trying to find his way, and in my opinion, school meets a necessary requirement in our society. However, it doesn't reflect the nature of males or men in our community. That's a whole nother topic. But again, at the time I was troubled. I was in the streets, getting in trouble, just living all over the place, trying to find myself as a young man. So I had children, dropped out of school, and decided that fatherhood has always, was something that I valued. I had a great father, always present, and I knew that I wanted to be, a type of father, a certain type of father. So got that degree, got that GED. Decided, I'm gonna go join the military, get my degree, and be something that my boys can be proud of.
So what branch you go to? You went a Marine.
Marine Corps.
Marine
Yeah.
Corps.
I joined the Marine Corps, became, went into the legal field. Was a firearms instructor in the Marine Corps. Taught Marines how to shoot very well, which is one of my favorite hobbies today. I love to shoot guns.
But I remember, excuse me, this story when you did that. You used to teach officers, right, how to shoot.
Yeah, I taught everyone.
Taught everyone, and then he wrote me a letter. I'll never forget.
From 01 all the way up into maybe like colonels.
Right.
Yeah, privates up to colonels.
And he wrote a letter. He said, "Mom," he said, "I'm concerned about this. You so good at shooting,
Yeah.
and killing people, killing good at this killing,
learn."
And I said to him, I wrote back and I said, "Listen, there's a difference between a soldier and a killer." Remember me telling you that? And you told me, right, a soldier. I said, you're right. Right. I said, you're a soldier. You're not a killer.
Yeah. The conversation was, I'm not a soldier. I'm a Marine.
A Marine. He's always correct me on that. Yeah. But I was early in my education. I got to stop. A Marine is a Marine forever. I get that. But at the time, I didn't know the lingo. I just knew, but I was trying to let you know that you're not a killer.
So got out of the Marine Corps, got my degree at Georgia State University in political science. Then I started my community service from there. Served as precinct managers out in Clayton County, voting precinct manager out in Clayton County, worked for International Rescue Committee as an intern, Georgia Justice Project, which is an indigent defense law firm. Became a zoning and planning commissioner for the city of Kennesaw briefly.
Paralegal?
Paralegal. Yeah, I worked as a paralegal in bankruptcy field for about 13 years, I believe, from about 2005 to 2000 and I believe 14.
And you help a lot of family members file bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Not me.
Time I, decided to get my real estate license. Top producer with some of the, largest offices here in Atlanta, Georgia. Decided to open up my own firm later on, which is where we are right now, D. Bailey & Associates Realty. Hit 40, decided there was some value in my experiences, and that led me into BaileySpeaks on YouTube. Speaking has always been something that I've been convicted to do. My path has always been like this.
You did some acting.
Yeah, I did that acting for 18 years.
Yeah, did some Tyler Perry stuff too.
That I actually like to,
Yeah, but I'm proud of you because I know you're not super proud of it, but you're some modeling up in New York and things of that nature. It's hard to brag about yourself. It's not bragging, but I was proud of you when you did that, and so you did a lot of Tyler Perry sitcoms. You was on some of those and ABC, and you did Fatal Attraction. You can still find some of those.
It was a hit show for two seasons. We actually did two episodes, 2 seasons.
Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction. It was a hit TV series.
You can still go back and see some of those.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Yeah. It's called Fatal Attraction. I don't know what year.
I don't know.
I don't know, but
season 1 and season 2. I had one episode on season 1. An episode on season 2 that I started. Yeah, because a lot of people ask me about living in Atlanta, do you ever see celebrities? It's kind of like it's just so common with us that I've seen a lot of celebrities, and over the years, back in the 80s, I didn't live too far from Holyfield, and I could see them all the time. And you see celebrities all the time. But it's not something that, right, No, in my opinion, no value. Right, not to me. I don't really reference it much. But anyway, interesting city to live in. If you want to go that way, that's arts that is here. But we're about trying to establish a residual income and wealth for the future and things of that nature. So that's why we're here today. Control of your life, anonymity, not anonymity, but what's the word? Autonomous living. Autonomous living. Control of your destiny. Control of your your future, whatnot. But now you're into something else. You're doing something else now. Well, that's what we're gonna get into as far as real estate development. Right. Okay. So just to make this brief, I'm a licensed real estate broker, father, husband, real estate developer, son, brother, the usual title. But yeah, we're a family of values. We're proud people.
We're natives of Atlanta.
We don't believe in false pride,
Right.
but we are proud people.
Right. But we are natives of Atlanta.
Atlanta natives.
A lot of people
say.
say, "Oh, I never get you." Yeah, you. I was born at Grady because I'm in the hospital for doing my era.
Yeah.
But you were born at Grady because I worked there at the time, and health care for employees was free. So I had a midwife and everything. So you a free baby.
Free baby. Yeah, just like you work at McDonald's, you get the free food.
I didn't have to pay to have him.
In real estate, I get not free housing, but I have free opportunities.
Right. So when we get into the topic for the day, you'll tell them more about what you're doing now, along with all else.
Get into that. We just wanted to give you guys some light conversation into our lives, our credentials, just so you know that we have some credibility in this particular topic.
Right.
Yeah. So
before we get started, I think we want to talk about what really prompted us to have this conversation, because living in the Atlanta area, just like most major cities, gentrification has come, is here, been here for a while. But how do you actually look at that as opportunity as opposed to a negative thing? It can be a very negative thing for a lot of people, but at the same time, how do we plan and invest and secure things for the future as it pertains to wealth and living comfortable throughout the rest of your days? So like I said, my husband retired, I'm semi-retired, so it's not like we suffer and have to worry about the next meal of food, but there are a lot of people do, and there are a lot of people having trouble buying houses and renting houses. And so we're going to talk a lot about how to avoid homelessness, because it's a real thing and it can affect anyone if you're not careful. You have to plan.
Winter's coming.
Winter's coming. It's here.
Whether you like it or not, whether you're prepared for it or not, it's here actually. It's here, and it's going to get colder and colder.
That's right.
It's going to be an extended winter, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. So our community and economy is outpacing. First of all, talk about our knowledge. When we say knowledge, our skills, our income, and our labor value as it relates to making society needs. Society needs.
Every individual in the society has a obligation to the community. In my opinion, I have I can provide some information and data to back it up. But every individual has a duty to the community. And within that duty falls, labor. Okay, we all have to make a living. We all have to go out and produce for our community, and in exchange for that, there is a exchange of income.
Right. Okay. But before we do that, it's important that we are self-aware. Self-aware and self-aware people, to me, have a potential to be more successful. When you're a self-aware person, when you're self-aware, you realize who you are, you know where you came from, you know what's going on right now, and you should have an idea where you want to go. So with that in mind, with this new, to avoid homelessness, we got to find out, what knowledge do I have? Who am I? Will I need to reinvent myself? Look at my skills. What are my skills? How do I recognize that? For example, if you're in your 40s, that's the time to really start thinking about your future, your financial future. That it's really too late. It really should start.
Being ready to pivot at any time.
Right.
Assessing where the community is going, where the world is going, and how you fall into that. And whether you like it or not, your housing definitely falls within that, that mindset.
Right. And a lot of people think that I go to school, get my degree, that's going to secure. A degree is not necessarily the key to financial wealth. Yeah. We see that all the time.
Ask yourself, even with your degree, what does your degree qualify you?
Degrees.
Now, when I say qualify you for, what practical skills do you have after you graduate college? Mm-hmm. Now, let's take away all the, the specialty degrees, attorney, doctor, engineer, the ones that require credentials. I'm talking about the business degrees, the political science degrees, which I have, all right, I'm going to be, I'm open. It's okay saying that. I have a degree in political science.
Mine is in human services.
Human services. Now, my question is, you may say, oh, I can be a social worker. When you get your degree, you are not qualified to be a social worker. When you get a degree in political science, you're not qualified to be a political scientist. You follow me? You see where I'm going? These degrees don't qualify you to go get a job. Mm-hmm. Ask any business owner, are you qualified to do this specific job by virtue of having a degree?
Yeah, but
the answer is no.
No, because for example,
you're entry level no matter what.
Right. When I would hire the ladies that would support to me, some of them had degrees and some of them had masters. And at the time, I had been in the field over 20 years, and here I was. I didn't have my degree. But I was so valuable to the company, and they knew my value. We're talking about my value. And so they didn't put a lot of emphasis on me not having a degree because I made them a lot of money. You get what I'm saying? But these people coming out of college, they had expectation. Oh, I have my master's, I have my degree now. Give me this job. But it didn't work that way. So they had to actually pay their dues. We call it pay your dues. Some experience. And a lot of people get very frustrated and say, oh, I have my degree. That didn't matter to me. So sometimes I would hire somebody with just the undergrad degree as opposed to someone with the master's, because I was looking for somebody that had this experience, and companies recognize that. So with that in mind, don't get so stuck on just saying, I need to get my degree, because that's going to secure it's not. So you need to really think what do I do now with this economy for my future? You may have to reinvent yourself. You may can take that same skill that you've been using on a job and take it and get your own business. Because to me, that's the key. The richest man in the world always said, J. Paul Getty to say that you never get rich working for the man per se. Yeah. It's working for yourself. Some people, it's a personal thing for me and for you too. Than not to be able to say I'm working every day. I'm getting up, hitting that clock. You have to do that sometimes, the way, do that. But the bottom line is, how do I take my skills and my knowledge to secure my future wealth for me and my family? So you may have to reinvent yourself and your skills. You may have to work smarter and not harder.
Well, I did a video on this. Hard is not. There's no value in working hard. The nature of currency, dollar, money does not reward hard work. It rewards value and creativity. And what I mean by that is, what type of value do you provide for someone who's holding money?
What do you mean?
Does that make sense? What I mean by that is, money's going to go where the value is. Okay, and I just did a video on housing.
Right,
everyone needs and requires housing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's value in that.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, are you building houses? Are you making houses better? Are you making houses safe for people? Are you designing homes? And that's just an example that I use. There's value in that. Is there value necessarily in preparing food for someone? Is there value in cleaning up a space? Now we're talking wealth establishing and creating opportunities for yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's the example. That's where I'm coming from. I'm not talking about human value. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Right.
I'm not talking about what you're doing to provide for your family, because there's definitely value in that. We're talking about objective value as it relates to a society.
Marketable skills.
Market value.
Right. And as you get older, have a young lady, she's in her 50s, and she was saying that sometimes it's hard to find jobs. You shouldn't have a degree, a little college. But at the same time, and I pointed out to people, the older you get, a lot of times the less marketable you are in certain fields. Yes. So you have to think about what can I do? Because a lot of companies don't want to take on someone that's older. I read that article one time. Then some companies do. They see the value in that maturity. Yes. So it just depends on what you want to do. So you don't limit yourself. But it's important that you become self-aware and understand, what can I do? It may not be, and COVID has changed a lot of things. The typical 9-to-5 job, and we used to say making $40,000 a year was good, $50,000 a year. But going forward, that's not going to cut it. Yeah. That's not going to cut it. So we got to think of ways, how can we take the skills and the knowledge we have to actually move forward, to avoid us being homeless one day. Because we all see now a lot of young people coming back home.
Yeah, exactly.
They have these degrees, and I know a lot of people now whose daughters and sons are back home with mom because they just can't afford the rent. There's no such thing as $1,000 rent anymore.
No.
A decent living. That's over.
The new $1,000 rent is, I think, I believe,
$1,500 in a safe, fairly safe neighborhood.
And I believe the average person has not transitioned with that change. Most, as a real estate broker, a lot of the clients that come through my office, I would say over the last 3-4 years are still to this day maintaining that they desire, housing and no more than $1,200 a month. And I have to, out of obligation, I have to, give them statistics of the reality of where the market sits right now.
That's the knowledge.
And it actually, it actually bothers me.
Yeah.
Because that right there tells me that their income, their wages have not adjusted with the reality of inflation.
Right. Look at the area in Bankhead here in Atlanta, Bankhead area. Years ago was.
Bankhead is which part? It goes.
Well, it starts in Villa Rica, Carrollton, Georgia, all the way to downtown Atlanta. Those of you familiar,
Yeah, that's the one part of it.
Right. So, but the thing about it is, they're building 400,000 houses and apartments townhouses in that area, and the median income is like 28,000.
Really?
Yes, the people that live in right, and so these are kind of things we're talking about. Knowledge we need to be aware of your surroundings and what's going on, what you need to do, and not just be so confident thinking, oh, I made $28,000 a year. You're not gonna buy a house or own anything with $28,000, $30,000 a year. Those days are over. So, and the knowledge of knowing what are my skills,
anyway.
right? Creativity. What knowledge do I have? What can I do? How can I reinvent myself? What can I do? It may also mean looking at the tribe, who you associate with, who you hanging around with, the mindset, who influencing you. What resources do I need? What resources do I have that I can tap into? Area that I can actually start making money for myself.
Which will require research, exactly.
Research.
There are, the reality is society has occupations, it has priority in certain industries. It is up to you if you want to change, your lot in life to research what that trajectory is. Is it housing? Is it cryptocurrency? Is it the stock market? Is it healthcare? All right, what industries sit in front of the demand of our community? And it's up to you to do the research.
Right. For example, in the human service field right now, I have clients and people I work with, and it's networking, guys. It's really about networking. You know what I'm saying? You all know your videos about collaborations and stuff like that. But I found that, how can you help me? Let's partner and see how can we help each other.
Exactly.
Right. How can we help each other with my skills and my mindset and my passion? What can we do? How can we come together and get something going? So Derek's going to talk about that later, his future thing. But let's realize we got to be knowledgeable. We got to learn more. We got to be self-aware. We have to know where we're going, where we're being, where we want to go. Who am I? My tribe. Who I'm hanging with. Who's influencing me? How do I get a hustle?
Where can you hop in and learn something for free, or in exchange for some type of value that you can offer another individual? For example, I just recently teamed up with some individuals. Okay, I bring my value as a real estate broker, developer, some of my skill, my tools,
business, real estate,
my clients. I bring value to them in exchange for learning or opportunities to learn. All right, we bounce off of each other, and we all benefit tremendously off of this arrangement. Okay, and that's just an example. I've never been too proud to do free labor, free work.
Me either.
It's the same as the internship that you did in college. Okay. However, the difference is now later in life you have more obligations, but that's where the trade-off, the opportunity cost comes in. Being flexible, learning that what's coming and being prepared for what's coming is far more important than the few hours a week of free labor,
Right.
or work that I do, or community service, that I do for others. We all have the obligation not just to, not don't just do it for for your selfish benefit, but if it helps, do it for the sake of your community.
Because it's kind of like the same concept on YouTube. How do you grow your channel? You won't grow your channel by being in this little
Selfish,
box, being selfish,
yeah.
introverts. You have to actually, by helping you, I help me. That's why when I do my live streams and I'll say something like, it's that time again to meet new friends, because we all creators here. We all know that we have to collaborate. You go to someone's channel, you watch the video, you leave a honest comment, and you hit the notification button. You let them know, and that's how you grow. And you don't limit yourself to just watching. If you just do hauls, you don't just establish a relationship with people to do hauls. You got to reach out to some gamers, people like Darius, that BaileySpeaks, and that's how you grow. So it's the same way in business. I have a girlfriend now. I help people. Help her to get her LLC. A couple of people. A lady reached out to me on YouTube and say she went to school to be a life coach, but she didn't know how to get started. Matter of fact, you turned her on to me. He sold this lady a house.
Are we talking about Miss Bradford?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
He sold this young lady a house, a former
client.
client, and you told her, I think you need to talk to my mom. And so that's what I do. We pass out, we put a plug in each other, and she called me, and she was going through a lot of personal stuff, and I get into that, but I taught her and show her how to get her business going. She had the education, she got the training, but she didn't know how to put it into action. And so I said, first thing to do is, I'm not gonna get into that, but
she was from another city.
She was from another city. She came here, and so she had the knowledge. She had to understand and tap into resources available to her, and that I was a resource. It's about resources, guys, and collaboration and networking. And so then she in turn can tell someone else about me. So that's how you acquire customers and long-term friendships. So a lot of people reach out to me. So don't be afraid to reach out to me. You know how. Reach out to D. Bailey, because if we can't help you, we can actually should turn you on to somebody we know can.
Most definitely. Honestly, it's always been natural,
Right.
And it's interesting, as a broker, I do it all the time in the business world. If I can't help someone, I broker the relationship or broker the transaction, and wish them the best.
Yeah.
And move forward.
Right.
And the benefit for me is the way it's the spirit of giving is so unique. Is that it always turns back.
It's like a boomerang
It's
effect.
a boomerang, exactly.
Right.
You can't grow
Right.
or gather any additional resources with your proverbial fist closed.
Right. And that goes
It has
in
to be open to
professional
receive,
relationship and personal relationship. You have to give. You have to give. So we talked about how knowledge and understanding to the tribes. It also means when you in the process of reinventing yourself and understanding your skills and networking with others that have the same interests or the same goals, it's a personal thing. You may have to also weed out some relationships that are preventing you from reaching your potential. Who is your tribe? That's very important. You have to find out, how is this person I'm dealing with holding me back? Or how am I holding myself back? So don't be afraid, like Darius said, and I keep saying, reach out to people. Reach out to people. There are a lot of resources here. And I've noticed a lot of people here that follow me are trying to get their own business, get started. There's no shame in that. So guys, reinvent yourself. Know your skills. Know how you can use those same skills to avoid being homeless and secure wealth for you and your family. So that's what this is all about. This is a video to share and to inspire and to help motivate you guys. It's a new year now, 2022. How can I do? What can I do? So start with reaching out to us and we'll help you. So we talked about skills and your income. Now we're going to talk about labor value.
Let's get into the purpose, the catalyst for this whole video that
Okay.
the video we watched this morning.
Yes, we watched a video about there's an area about 25 miles outside of Atlanta. That's the Villa Rica area,
Correct.
west of Atlanta, which is growing by leaps and bounds. Right now, I think there's about, last time I looked, about 16,000?
Is that it?
More than
The
six.
population?
Population
Oh
is,
wow, I didn't know that.
look it up. Yeah, about 16,000 last time my husband looked. And we watched a video on the R again.
Yeah, I was.
I have to work on that, guys. I used to have to speak and do training and stuff like that, but when you're not using, you get kind of lax.
Yeah. Okay, so the population is 15,000.
15,000, Villa Rica,
392.
392.
2019, and I'm sure that number has increased.
Right, and this is, guys, we had a video we made about 4 years ago. About 4 years ago, moving to Atlanta, went viral. It went viral, and it was really just no thought put into it. We're just talking, walking down the street, pushing Xander his stroller. And at that time, everybody still today wants to move to Atlanta. But we want to share and let you guys know that I know a lot of people that follow me and reached out to me. They came from different places, California, New York, everywhere. And they came here and thought they're going to come here and just strike it rich.
Yeah.
And they found out they couldn't afford the housing. They thought this was the poor South. Atlanta is not poor.
And the reality is, a lot of the people that move here, which is a phenomenon, that I studied in undergrad and everything. Civilizations are usually developed around metropolitan areas, okay? Because that's where the ecosystem normally sits.
Mm-hmm.
Historically, or thousands of years, has always been water, wherever the resources are. Law enforcement, jobs, food, daycare, and not to forget safety. Okay, when people the way it works is people come from New York, LA, they move to a seat of Atlanta because this is where their tribe sits, their community sits. And that's not necessarily the best way to relocate yourself.
Right.
Okay, if it's for the short term, if you just want that job, of course you're going to go to the city. You're going to go to where that law firm is. You're going to go where that hospital is. You're going to go where that chain of restaurants that you came from in another city.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about that, the losing part of that is you're moving into something that's already established. There's no room for innovation there.
Right.
And you're subject to what's already been created for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The real wealth and the real value is creating something, or creating an ecosystem, or just something innovative. I'll leave that to you to determine where that value is. Let you do your own research. I figured it out. Okay. It's no different than going into Sam's. When you go into Sam's, you buy that bulk item. You buy that bulk pack of candy for $20. But yet within that box of candy, you have the potential to make $50.
Maybe.
You get what I'm saying? You get the example, $50. Well, so you have you double your potential. So it's the same thing with anything. The wealth sits with production.
Right.
Owning the means to production, creating something new that the world can find value in.
Right. You got to be innovative. Mm-hmm. You have to really, we're talking about potential projects. Mm-hmm. Things like we talked about in the beginning, gentrification. How can you piggyback? If I have a house right now, how in the Atlanta area, there are a lot of people have those homes, elderly people. How do you turn that maybe into a B&B? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people doing that. How can you do that? Mm-hmm. But if you're sitting on any property in the Atlanta area, you want to hold on to it. Yeah. And if you want to come here and buy a house or buy some land, think of that. The mindset people don't understand. My mom used to always say, if you have land, you got money.
That's what I've always known.
When I've been saying it to him, my mama taught that. And it may begin with one house, but also look at and stop thinking about, I need to live in the city. If you want to live in the city, you need to have some money. Do you have those resources? Have the financial resources to do that? Whatever. But
in the city, you're paying retail price. in basically everything you do.
Right.
Someone has already developed a whole ecosystem for you. You notice as a developer, I know that whenever we're looking to develop a piece of land, we know that a hospital needs to go there.
Mm-hmm.
We know that a food place needs to go there. We know that a dental office needs to go there.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the things that the whole ecosystem is being created for you, and there's really no room for you to find value unless you do your own research. For example, that dental office that needs to go next to the community that we're building. We know that receptionist working in the office is only going to be paid $25,000 per year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you follow me? So that's already been budgeted.
So there are a lot of
Yeah.
potential areas outside 25, 30 minutes from Atlanta.
Yeah.
That you want to still live in Atlanta, but you can come out here and start your business out this way, out near the Villa Rica, Carrollton area.
Where land is cheaper.
Land is cheaper, and even Carrollton is just 40 minutes from Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So the potential is there, guys, to avoid homelessness. You want to just try to start your little business, or you want to buy some land, because Darius can tell you about, there's an area in Carrollton, which is like 40 minutes from Atlanta. Carrollton is really about 38 minutes from Atlanta, not that far. And near the land that he looked at last year, we're thinking about purchasing. I'm thinking about going in partnership and purchase some land out there. They were showing that they're about to build some homes valued at a lot of money.
Yeah, it's growing.
So it's growing tremendously. So that's my next investment, is purchasing some land. And so this house I purchased last year, we're thinking about keeping another year or so, and then maybe want to sell it. Because the value has increased tremendously. So that's how you avoid homelessness, is just starting your own business, collaborating with others, networking with others, going in partnership with others, buying some property, some land, renting out a home you have as opposed to selling it.
Cutting back on additional unused space. For example, I'm seeing a lot of people that are developing or transitioning their unfinished basements into living quarters for children
that are coming back home.
Parents. And the sad part about it is that in the early 2000s, I'm not going to say sad part about it, but a lot of people purchase properties in the early 2000s, what we call mini mansions with unfinished basements. And a lot of those people are using that space for storage units, or storage from items with no value that they're storing in their basement, just because they've acquired all these assets, or not even assets, these goods, these consumer goods with no value to them. Whereas I'm noticing a lot of homeowners, certain demographics, are using that space now to house family members
and
children.
Also renting them out.
Yeah,
I know a lady is a widow. She has a big house. She bought in the 80s or 70s, paid off now. Her husband expired. She lives alone, and she actually has a tenant downstairs in the basement. You know what I'm saying? So, like you say, to store it, nothing there. All the kids are gone. They're taking advantage of that, because here in the South, Georgia has never been big on having tenants. Everybody has to change their mindset. You have to reinvent yourself and get set right. Mindset.
Where was I before this?
We were talking about in the South, and never been big on having tenants, but now it's changing.
Okay, the whole idea of sprawl suggests that, which is very common here in the South. Everyone wants their private space.
Right.
Okay, and I started learning about this in a practical sense when I moved to New York back in 2005. Personal space in New York is non-existent. And what I mean by that, in the South, everyone wants the acre, the 2 acres, the 3 acres. They want to be far away from their neighbors. They want in the elevator. People don't sit this close to each other. Okay, because it's unheard of.
In the South.
Whereas you go to New York,
right,
the living density is far greater. You sit in a restaurant with your date or your partner, your spouse, and you're eating a nice steak, and more than likely you're probably sitting right next to another couple doing the same thing.
Right.
And if you're from the South, like me, for example, when I moved there, I found that like
Crazy.
I was tripped out by it.
Right. It's like invading my personal space.
Yeah.
The first time I went to Europe, I went to Switzerland. I was there 2 weeks, and we made reservations at this restaurant. My girlfriend and I, she was really my supervisor. And we got to the restaurant. It was a long table, looked like a school cafeteria table. And the man seated our seats. And I was wondering why they reserve us such a large table. Next thing I know, here 2 other people come sit beside us. And I thought, what are they doing here? Almost it's not as close as Darius and I, but fairly close. And they explained to us that it was a table for 6, but you don't get the whole table. You reserve 2 seats. So that blew my mind. I'm going, oh no. So you have to change mindset.
And the whole point of that was exactly letting you know that unused space is what it is, excess. And that excess, there's value.
Right.
There's potential, there's upside, there's potential for you to capitalize on. All right. Out of necessity, because things are changing.
Things are changing.
That extra unused space can be used to generate income. On another note, these same people that are increasing or developing these unused spaces, these basements, they're increasing wealth. They're increasing personal wealth. For example, finishing the basement here at the median and above median price points for homes, you're increasing the value anywhere from 30 to 60 plus on your property, on your home value.
Right.
And
these are ways to avoid homelessness.
Yes.
Because winter is here, winter is coming. It's going to be a long winter. It's going right.
Yeah.
So.
And this video, the reason, guys, we were watching a profound video that suggests that the city of Villa Rica will be growing substantially over the next 25 years. And if you're anywhere in Georgia, there's a law in Georgia that states that every city is required to project a 25-year development plan that impacts every aspect of living within that community. And that plan, in most cases, don't include your plans or your lack of planning, which means that the ball is rolling.
That's right.
Whether you decide to move or not. And that impacted me tremendously from my experience, from my, what I value. I want my community, our community to thrive and be prepared for what's coming. Because whether you accept it or not, I know it.
Yeah, so we have to remember, like I said in the beginning, that our community, my community, your community is outpacing our knowledge, our skills, our income, and labor value. So how do we avoid being homeless or being poor, or even poorer?
Yeah. And what we're saying, some of you will receive it, some of you won't.
Right.
I think to better illustrate what we're suggesting, we're gonna put a note up in the video. So be sure we put a link to the video so you can kind of get a better illustration of what we're referring to. Anywhere you go in Georgia, there's a 25-year by law. There's a 25-year development plan. It's under the Georgia Department of Community Services, Community Affairs. Apologies. There's a minimum chapter 110-12-1, minimum standards and procedures for local comprehensive planning. Okay. Every city is required to project 25-year where the city is going to be going.
Right.
Housing, economy, where the budget's going to be putting their focus.
Right.
As it relates to health and living standards.
Right.
In Georgia. So remember, your city is moving forward.
This is knowledge.
Your city is
That's
moving
right.
forward.
That's right.
It behooves you to tap into that and use that as a strategy to determine where you and your legacy, your family is going to be going in the future.
Right, because I keep tabs and this kind of stuff. I'm always running stuff by Darius here, my other son, but he's not mindset like this, but he'll say things too. But I found this videos, and Darius watched it with me this morning, and so I want to share. He's going to put that link here. It's awesome, guys. It's just not here in Villa Rica area, but it's all over. You'll see it. It's coming. So you have to really go with the flow. Be ready. Move with the guys, and abandon a sinking ship.
Yep.
And a sinking ship, the mentality is, oh, I want to live just here, or I've always done this way, or I'm set, I make $40,000 a year, or I have my degree, I have my degrees, and I have my husband, my boyfriend, or my tribe. Guys, your tribes are dying every day. Members of our tribes are dying every day, or abandoning us. So
yeah, exactly. Your mentality has to be such that your focus is for a greater good, for the good of not just you, but your family, your immediate community, and your broader community.
but what's that? That's the gold mine mentality. What's the gold mine mentality?
Let me look that up really quick.
Yeah, heard about the gold mine.
GOLD?
Like gold.
Gold mine.
Yeah, I heard something about the gold mine mentality.
Interesting. Okay.
So we wanted to share because we see so many people here. For example, another area too, I have quite a few relatives, and Darius probably knows some of them, and people too that actually they're much older than, not much older than me, but older than me, and are much older than Darius, that actually live in the areas of Atlanta, close to downtown, and they're sitting in what we call a gold mine. That's what they're thinking about, that gold mine. Everything I'm sitting on a gold mine. But the thing about it is, a lot of people have homes now. Maybe they have a lot of equity in their home, but they can't sell it. Because a lot of them say, they want to say, I want to buy another house. With the COVID, a lot of people's credit was affected because they couldn't work. So a lot of people's credit is gone to the dogs now. Even if they had equity, where are they going to go? There's no new development that these people can afford. You know what I'm saying? There's no new. They're not building. Even the homes they're building in the Atlanta area are starting at $400,000.
And you know what? This is where the limitation of creativity comes in. The average person can't take that $100,000, that 50, that 75, and create a better opportunity, because you know what, they can afford to, because they still have the housing need.
Right.
All right. So, for example, let's say you were to sell your house and you cash in on your your $110,000 equity. What are you doing now?
Right.
Do you have a scenario where you can go and live with someone else?
Yeah. Can you buy another
house? Can
you
buy another house? Can you go and take that house and purchase a cheaper house and fix it up and develop it? The average person don't have that creativity.
They can't fix it up or have the money. And the house that they can afford now is not going to be in a great area.
And what I'm suggesting,
a safe area.
What I'm suggesting is that times are becoming more dire.
Right.
And you have to think a little bit more aggressively.
Right.
In taking that wealth that you've established over as a result of increasing values, taking that wealth and being aggressive with it. Mm-hmm. Determining and saying, okay, well, things are getting bad right now. I can't afford this mortgage. I can't afford to pay. I have 100 in equity. I have 100K equity, but I can't continue. I don't have the income to continue to maintain this beautiful, huge, unused house that I purchased in a different time. I don't have the creativity to go and create another opportunity.
So
what I'm suggesting is learn aggressively, research aggressively, learn aggressively, develop yourself to where you could make those changes.
And be open to be flexible. Be open to be more right. Be open to be more flexible. Don't narrow yourself down and just say, we talk about, I'm set in my way. I just want to live here. I want to live that. You got to get out of that box. You know what I'm saying? You got to get out of that box.
And look, I'm gonna give you guys a reality, historical reality. Traditionally, in our community, when we moved to because of social issues, social factors that occur in our community,
right?
We traditionally want to be somewhere where others look like us. We want to be somewhere where we feel safe, that someone is right next door to us. We want to have that confirmation that we've made it.
The convenience.
We want to know that we're in this school system, that we live next door to someone else that earns what I earn, or someone that, you know, that live similar lifestyles, but I have a little bit more than they have. And these are losing mindsets. Whereas we should have been moving to rural areas,
right,
where we have control over our lives. You know,
that's right.
And the sad reality is that we're not comfortable in these areas anymore because we're afraid of the crime. We're crimes against us.
Right.
The profiling. And I'm not suggesting that stuff is not justified. It's not reality. But the what I'm saying is that it's not enough. We should live our lives out of fear.
Right. Right.
When you live your life out of fear, you live in anxiety. You live in panic. You live in hastiness.
Right.
Okay. We should be living in areas where we're thinking of our next generation.
Right.
We should be living in areas where we're able to take control of our land. Where we want to cut back on our expenses, so to speak. But this is how we should be thinking about our our living scenarios.
Right. And we was talking about it earlier. A lot of people say, "Oh, when I get old, I'm getting my Social Security." People like you can't count on that.
I wouldn't care.
You can count. I know, but there are people that count on that. You know, Social Security, I think, is not going to go anywhere. But it's not going to be like you all think it's going to be.
It won't
keep up with inflation. It just won't.
It's
not.
Inflation is government money, or it's coming from the government.
Right.
Government, it won't ever adjust wages to recipients that keep up with inflation.
Right. And as I had to say, we as a race of people, like you said years ago, we abandoned a lot of land to move to the city. But that mindset and those people that not like us always known the value of having land. So it goes back to knowledge and learning, because knowing is half the battle. You got to know. You have to know what can you do. So these are videos we're going to be making more in the future. We're going to be talking about, we're going to put that link in there to show the projected growth of just an area that's right outside Atlanta.
We're also going to put a link in the description or somewhere, a note linking to the other video that we did, moving to Atlanta.
Yeah, moving to Atlanta. That's a good place to start. So we just hope you all benefit from this video. We said we're going to make it an hour, and it's almost an hour.
Wow. My butt is asleep. So
your butt is asleep. Yes, it's 57 minutes. And guys, we just thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys so much. So if you're thinking about starting your own LLC, that's where you start, and you can reach out to me, reach out to him. So I'm not going to say, I don't get into what I charge for my services. I wait till I actually get clients and I go over that. But I actually help people to just start. The first step, how do I get started? What do I do? And I've learned from some of the best in my field how to do that. And that's the first thing is people don't even know to get a name. They don't even know the first step. What do I do? You got to think about.
I would say don't even focus on the name of an LLC.
No focus on that, but you got to think about what do you want to do? Who do you want to serve? Like people say, well, I don't know who I want to serve. But I've learned you need to know who you want to serve. Who's your target? You want to provide services for children or adults? What do you do? So I helped them identify, look, you have this skill. I had a young lady that I helped, actually supervise. She said, Miss Phyllis, I want to start my own business. She said, but I don't have a degree. And I had told her, I said, listen, you don't need a degree to what you do. You've been providing service for people with DD or mental health issues for 10 years because you work with my agency. And I said, I can show you how. So I got her started. She has her own little personal care home business. It's non-medical. So she provides services for adults. She go in the home, provide basic personal care skills for them. So, the mindset, she thought she needed a degree. She thought she needed to have a nursing license, because you can provide the nursing service, but you don't focus on making your business a medical service. There are just different licensures. Make it a non-nursing service. And what you can do, I show her you can contract with a nurse. She said, I don't have the money to pay a nurse. You don't need to pay that nurse. You contract with an RN to come in once a month to check off on your notes and stuff, and you just pay her. So she said, oh, I didn't know that. So that's what she does. So she's doing pretty good. And plus she said Mary Kay, and I helped her. So those are things, and she's so thankful to me. And so you don't know how to get started. You know.
What you don't know, what you just said illustrates how business owners have always done things. The wealthy, the ambitious, pay educated people
Right.
for the services, for the information, for the jobs that the information that they don't know.
See,
That's the reality.
That's the reality.
The formal education was part of an agenda from the 70s, on mainstream, that is, on a broader level. It's an agenda that has been pushed for the masses to obtain college degrees. Whereas, in my opinion, the degree should have gone to the higher, the skill sets, the industries, the doctors, the lawyers that require higher level education. See, the thing about it, over the last 30, 40 years, the whole point of the whole formal education agenda was to get college debt.
Right.
And we're seeing that come back
right.
to haunt us right now.
Right.
So what I'm saying, guys, is that we've all been duped. Okay? We have to accept that we've been duped and pivot.
Right.
And pivot for our benefit.
Right.
We don't have time to point the blame to say, hey, oh, they got us, because you still have to live.
That's wasted time.
That blame is not going to feed your children.
That's wasted energy and
time.
time.
Jump off the boat.
Hook up with someone, collaborate with someone that's invested in your dreams.
No.
What I'm saying is the value. You may have to, what I'm saying, like, I'm a consultant, and I monitor. Consulting is expensive.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's expensive. And, if you pay me $50 an hour for my expertise and pick my brain, but I also waive that. It depends. Sometimes I waive that fee. I give a free assessment, initial assessment, and we talk. That free consultation, 30-minute consultation, just to get an idea what you want to do. But what I was saying when I say that you have to pay for that service. You have to pay for service. Anything you get free, even if it's somebody really, I just assess the situation. I really want to do this, but I don't have any money to pay you. So I may talk, and she's been saying, oh, but I do websites. And that's okay. In exchange for this, a barter system, you be on my website, and I'll provide this. So it's out there, guys. That barter system can work too. That can work for you. So that's what I was saying. It's just so much out there, but don't be afraid to reach out. Don't sit there and feel you cannot achieve your dream because you don't have the money. Because people, I'm sure you do it too. A barter system.
Oh, all the time.
You right to say, you do this for me, I do this for you. That's how they made on Black Wall Street. They used the barter system.
Here's a trick that I do. Being in my industry, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up.
Yeah.
In my industry, and knowing what I know, there's a site that I go to. I did a video on this on my YouTube, on my channel, BaileySpeaks.
BaileySpeaks.
I go to a site where I obtain free goods, and I use those free goods to develop my properties. You follow me? I may get a free item, and the item that I use to develop my property is chandelier, new free floors, free lumber. This is increasing value in my property tremendously, and it's almost like when someone plops a big, something valuable to you in front of you. You're like, why are you giving this to me? Why are you throwing this away? And it's because of my creativity allows me to see the end game and what is, the value that it's creating. So this is, these are things. This is your
passion. I'm passionate about human beings, so that's always my thing.
And so am I too. But the thing is, everyone serves a role.
Right.
You have an obligation. You have to use what you know to benefit your community.
Right.
And I know that my efforts aren't just benefiting me.
Right.
I walk around, to be honest with you guys, I walk around in work clothes. I walk around people on a daily. People look over me because of, you know, I
Right.
drive a pickup truck with tools.
Right.
I dress in work clothes wherever I go for the most part. But it's all an end game. I've lived the
Right.
flashy. I lived the,
Me too. I've
you know,
had
I've
it.
lived all that. So it's, you know, my life is for the benefit of my community and my tribe
That's
at
right.
this point.
That's right.
So yeah.
So that's why we're here. We hope you all benefit from this video. We appreciate it, and I thank you guys so much for your support. And as you continue your YouTube journey, please remember to go by and check out D. Bailey Speaks.
And also D. Bailey and Associates
Right.
Realty. So that's D. Bailey Speaks on YouTube. So please subscribe, leave your comments and like, and also visit my other channel, D. Bailey and Associates Realty. This is the official page of my my real estate firm here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Right. Because this is right. I'm on your channel, right?
I don't know. You're there somewhere.
All right. So we upload this video on your channel.
Okay. So guys, yeah, please engage us.
So since I'm on his channel, my name is Phyllis Brown, and I'm my YouTube channel is Phyllis Brown.
Phyllis Brown. Go
You'll
check
see
her
my
out.
face,
Mama Bear.
Mama Bear, and we're gonna put all this in the description, right?
Yeah, we'll
put the
we'll
link,
give y'all
my
all the links
channel,
that you
all
need
his
to
channels, right?
Connect and engage with us.
Right.
But it's been awesome, guys. Thank you.
Thank you
for watching D. Bailey Speaks. I hope you guys are listening.
Thank you, guys.